Turns out these days many makers of mass-produced wine are using chemical additives and new technologies to change the flavor. Ray Isle is the executive wine editor of Food and Wine magazine. Ray, good morning.
It's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
How common is this?
In mass market wines, it's fairly common actually. It's when you're making a million cases of a wine or something like that, you want a consistent product. It's not different from the food industry.
And so, what are we talking about?
Well, you're talking about all sorts of things. Much of which is not harmful necessarily. It's just kind of weird because it goes against the idea of this kind of organic, beautiful production. But anything from Mega Purple, for instance, which is a super duper 2001 grape concentrate that if you happen to have a really light colored, not very tasty Pinot Noir, you could put a little Mega Purple in it. It'll zap the color up and give it a little more flavor. You've got sulfur dioxide, which has been used since the Roman times to kind of stabilize wine and keep it from oxidizing. But all sorts of stuff, tannic additives, enzymes to move fermentation along, oak chips, oak dust, and some of this is kind of cool because when you think about oak, an oak barrel is actually not very sustainable, or in terms of organics and so on. Oak chips are actually better for the world, though they may not be quite the image we have of wine aging in barrels, beautifully.
I have to say though, I feel a little tricked because none of this is on the label.
No.
And for years, I feel like a lot of people chose wine because they thought there must be some health benefit. We always hear studies about how red wine is better, and now I'm hearing there's all these chemicals in it.
Well, it's not so much chemicals in it. A lot of the additives are naturally occurring. They're sort of like boosters that are the naturally occurring stuff. Anyway, there are some things that people use which are a little disconcerting. There's Velcorin, which is a sterilant that's used actually in the juice and sports drink business a lot, which will just zap anything living in the wine, which is nice because it means it won't re-ferment in the bottle. But and in theory, or at least according to scientists, Velcorin breaks down to alcohol and carbon dioxide. On the other hand, you have to use a hazmat suit to add the stuff. So.
But I mean,
but there's no way to determine whether that's actually in the. It's not listed.
Absolutely not. No.
But could it ever be listed?
Well, it could be. It's interesting. Wine is regulated by the same bureau that does tobacco and firearms and explosives. It's not the FDA. It's not the same bureau that regulates cereal and so on. And so the rules are totally different. It all comes out of prohibition and crime and so on. And so there's a movement in the wine industry among some producers to say, well, let's put all this stuff on the label. Let's just tell everybody what's going on. And then there's an equal movement that's like, why don't we just not go there?
Well, Ray, next time you visit, I want you to feel free to bring some wine with you. I'll let you know if the tricks are working.
I'd love to.
Ray Isle, thank you so much.
Good to see you. Thanks.